What's up, traders? We're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to do a recap, but we're going to do a recap of the live trades. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Let's get to it. All right, traders. So I know when we do recaps, we always talk about the thought process and everything that goes along with making the actual trades. So I figured what a better way to kind of get that across than to just go through the live trade itself. We're not going to do any sound, but we're going to go ahead and dive back into the trades as they were happening and try to kind of talk us through our thought process. And yeah, we're going to go from there. So if you want to watch these trades live with the actual sound and everything that goes on within the trades, the actual conversations that might be happening, feel free to go watch them. I do have them linked. The trade's linked within the timeline. So if you hover over the timeline, you'll actually be able to see each and every one of my trades, as well as when the trades did not happen. I forgot to put the no trade in between number 3 and the QUMU trade, but I'll fix that afterwards. So starting here with WKHS, I'm obviously not going to be able to draw a line here, but you can see this previous resistance right under that 16 area, and then you can see the extension through. However, VWAP and the 9 are up here around that 1620, 1630 area. So we're just going to go ahead and hit play, and we're going to kind of see what happens here. So as we're moving up, we went up through the $0.50. You could start to feel it kind of struggling. So we jumped in looking for that, typical 70 area through the $0.50 to really kind of start to hold itself down. You could start to feel the selling pressure a little bit. And I've traded this thing in the past, and I know it can be a little bit grindy. I know it can, extend and then kind of continue to go. But typically when you get these pushes like that, you'll tend to get the $0.50 retest, the whole dollar retest, whatever it may be. And as you can see, that was kind of all we went for here. Obviously sized in just in case this thing did want to continue to run, but it didn't. We ended up taking our profits right there on the other the north side of the $0.50, and that was it. That was a trade on WKHS number 1. So then number 2 happens. It goes through high of day, and it's coming up to 17 here. So what I'm thinking is if this wants to blast through 17 real quick, we're hoping for a quick little push, maybe 1710, 1715, and that's where we're going to start our position, right? We're still extended. We're still on that same front side move. However, the 9 is starting to catch up, so it could be, a sign of a possible grinder. It is a bigger company. It had like a 2 billion market cap, and that's usually my cutoff as far as market cap goes. Anything over that, I start to think it's a really big company, and it's a little bit harder for them to kind of make them big moves back to the downside after the move to the upside. So when we get to 17 here, you can kind of see it starts to struggle, and I'm going to go back so we can kind of watch it, and you'll see when I enter the trade, what I'm really looking for here is just a quick scalp. I'm looking for it to reject 17 because it obviously doesn't want to go through 17 just yet, and I'm just looking for that quick push back down towards that previous area that we got to before, which was that 16 like 75s to 80 area. And so let's hit play. We'll go back real quick. You can see right when I pulled it up, you'll see it's here. You can see it's struggling, right? It's not just going. It made a move up and it wasn't going through 17 there. So that was a sign that we're not going to go through just yet. Looking for that quick pullback down to that 80 area. You can see I put the order at 84. Just looking for that to get covered. And we got to 86, and I thought we were going to get it. It kept going to 86, and it just did not want to break. So we went ahead and took it off for the smaller win. I think we got filled at like 93 or 94 there. So a little disappointing. We missed it by 2 cents. And I don't think this ever actually comes back down. I think it ends up going right back up to 17. And well, let's see real quick. 80s. Yeah, I don't think it does. I remember saying it didn't, and we made the right read there. So yeah, you can see it keeps bouncing off that 86 area. So then it does end up getting a good pullback after it went through 17. And the reason we didn't take a trade when it went through 17 finally is, actually, let me go back and see if I can find it real quick. I can just show you. So it's going to be back here, because I'm pretty sure I probably pulled it up at some point as it was happening. Yeah, okay. Was it right here? I feel like we already missed it. It was like right after the end of this trade. Yeah, okay, so here it is. Well, let's just hit play. We'll see if we can find it real quick. FSR, this one looked good. It's going to be the same kind of scenario as this FSR trade. Now, someone would ask, well, why didn't you take this? Went to that 2020 area, went through the whole dollar. It's pretty extended. And the real answer is because I love these previous resistance areas. I want to see the extension away from these areas. Yeah, it was a big move. Yeah, it went through a whole dollar. But it's not really that extended away from that previous resistance. I want to see it get really extended. So on something like this, I'd be looking for that 2050 test more so than just 2020, which is why I did not take this trade. Okay, so you can see, I remember Workhorse actually went through 17 really fast. And on this move, as it went through 17, I was looking for the big push up towards 1720, because if you remember, I was looking for that quick scalp on the south side of 17, but when it went through, I was just looking for that 1720, because this is still the front side, right? We were still looking for that actual FOMO pop that we just couldn't get. However, you can see as quickly as I pulled this up, it already went to that high of 1710 and back down below 17. You can see that the ask is at 17 right now. So if we hit play, you're going to see, I don't think we ever actually get back above it. And then that's where that big pullback begins. Now, you could always obviously jump back in on this side of it, but to me, I was looking for a much bigger extension there. I actually don't see any fault in, jumping in this right here, looking to the short side, as long as you're risking high of day there. Obviously, the risk to reward is really nice. But it just wasn't the play for me. I was looking for that big pop through 17. I was looking for like 1720 plus, and we just didn't get it. So I just avoided the trade. And that was that. So on to number 3, which happened to be Workhorse again. Now you can see we had that pretty good pullback, but we have that previous resistance there at 1710, right? That's where the high of day was. And now we're going to get this 1750 pop. And you're going to see it actually pop through. You're going to see that little bit of FOMO that we're actually looking for. So if it grinds, it's fine. But then when we get through 50, watch what it does. You can see it start to everyone starts hitting the ask. So right, see how it's like bid, ask, we're just kind of going back and forth. But watch when it goes through 50. Just waiting, there it goes. See the ask? See how the ask just gets absolutely smothered? And the moment, you can see how quick that happened. Let's go back and watch. Watch for 50, and then what I want you to look for is how quick you can start to see that selling pressure come in. I know I talk about the jiggle a lot, but when we're really extended like this, you can see the 9 starting to catch up, which isn't a good sign, right? It's actually already at this previous resistance. But when we're extended to the point where we're looking, then we start focusing on those half-dollar, whole-dollar areas. And when we get that blow through, usually it's about that 20-cent increment that we're looking for. So 1770, and down here it would have been 1720. So you're looking for those 20s and those 70s, because what you're almost always going to get is a retest of that whole dollar or half dollar. And you can almost guarantee that you're going to be in a somewhat decent position if you can get that entry. And so when it blows through 50 and you see the ask getting hit like that, that's what we're looking for, right? That's that pop where only the ask is getting hit, and we're waiting for people to start selling. And that first sign that we see someone selling, that's when we're looking to jump in, ride it back down to that half dollar, whole dollar, and hopefully, if we have, decent size, if we are taking, decent size, we can take most of our position out and then look for the break of that half dollar, whole dollar, and try to ride it back down. So let's just actually see what happens. But look how quick this happens through 50. See it going. And then the first sign of selling pressure right there, we jumped in. Unfortunately, that wasn't the end of it. But you can see that it's struggling here, right? It is still going up, but it was starting to struggle. But at this point now I'm thinking, okay, we're going to probably get it at around 18. That's what I'm thinking if this wants to continue. But this is the move we were looking for. So we have no problem scaling into this. And so we get the add there at 88. You can see it start to slow down. If we go back and you can really kind of watch this. So watch it's going up. It's just going up. And then we're just looking for it to slow down right there. You can see it. See how it just slows down? That's where I get my add at. And then obviously I just start playing with my orders where I would be happy with some fills if it wanted to shoot right back down there. I end up moving this 53 down. I don't remember what I said, but I didn't mean to. Yeah, there we go. And then it's kind of a waiting game. And if this wanted to go through 18, we had a really nice level on the daily there at 1830. I do remember that, and would have obviously been really happy with that. So we start to get this pullback, right? We're looking for that half dollar test for 80% of our position. And watch how close we get, right? We had it at 53. It kept going to 60, and it just could not get through. And I remember absolutely smacking myself because right here, when I realized it just did not want to go through 60, that's where I should have been taking off most of my position. And you can see we're pretty decent realized for, for what our goal is on the day of, $40. That would have been a quarter of it right there if we took the whole thing. But and I'm usually really good at taking that off, but I was greedy. I thought we were going to get that 60 flush all the way down to the $0.50, and we just never got it. And then I ended up riding this thing all the way back up towards the highs. Now, usually I do play these where I would cut them at high of day if they consolidate for longer than like 4 or 5 minutes. But this one just goes right back up. So I had no problem, especially with the line there on the daily up there at 1835. If this wanted to go through 18, I was ready to add to this, looking for the move back down through 18 with a nice decent add on the north side of 18. But we never actually end up getting that. As we'll scroll forward a little bit, you can see here's the high of day push. I don't even think it touches 18. I think it goes like 17. Oh, no, it does. Okay. It doesn't go through, though, because I remember saying I'm ready to hit it if it did go up through. And we can just kind of fast forward a little bit. You can see it gets pretty hard rejected there at 18. Starts to come back down. We moved our order up here to 62 because we knew there was a big buyer there at 60. So we were just front running that to make sure we got most of our position out, and then we were going to look to ride the rest down. So here we go, coming down, trying that area again. And as you can see, it ends up flushing. So here comes 70, and then there we go. Big flush all the way down through 50, which was a bit of a bummer because, if we would have kept our order there, that would have been a pretty nice chunk of change percentage-wise for us with those 80 shares instead of taking it off at 62. But obviously you can never predict that flush is coming. You put the reason you put those orders out is where you would be happy if you get it. And I was perfectly fine with it. And as you can see, it continued back down through 50. And when it made that flush, we just went ahead and took it. So I was pretty happy with the overall trade. It ended up being a pretty good trade. And yeah, the only thing I was kind of upset with on this one is you can see I preach this all the time. When you have this previous resistance, when you get a nice move back down through or up through it, usually you will come back down and test that area before it decides if it wants to continue down or bounce back up and, try to go higher. And I was a little upset at myself because, I keep telling myself I want to take the majority of my position, whether it's 80, 90%, and, wait for that bigger move with the leftover shares. And I just tend to keep not doing that. So I really need to practice my patience when it comes to that. And yeah, that was it, the third trade on WKHS. And then here on QUMU, it was an afternoon trade. It was just something we were grabbing right before we were done trading at 12 o'clock. And I don't think there was anything special about this one. I think it just kind of finally gave us a little bit of a pop. Yeah, let's see. So you can see it just sitting here above the $0.50, and all of a sudden you'll see it get absolutely smashed on the ask. And that was my sign to go ahead and just jump in real quick. We got 62 right before the bid jumped up there to 64. So obviously that would have been nice to kind of get lucky if we would have waited a split second. Just put the order out there at 53, just looking for it to come back down, retest that $0.50, just like I've been saying this whole time. And unfortunately, we get the 55, and I think it just literally sits here. It just does not ever want to break down. Eventually it does, well after the fact that we got out, but unfortunately it didn't do it while we were in 56. It just kept stopping at 56, and I think I was like, well, if it comes to 57 again, obviously there's somebody sitting here at 56. We're just going to go ahead and take it off, and I think that's exactly what I end up doing. Let's see. Yeah. So you can see I literally took it off right before it jumped back up again. And there it is. So I think this actually ended up going back to high of day and then finally coming back down. And, it would have filled us, like I said, but we would have had to wait for that little bit of a push through high of day. We did take one more trade, which I posted on my Twitter. It was just a small little scalp. It wasn't anything. I forget the ticker, actually. Actually, let's pull it up real quick. It was... MVIS. So MVIS, which... Let's see if I can show you guys real quick. Here we go. So it was nothing special. It was actually a really nice move. I probably shouldn't have been in the trade. I was sitting here eating lunch. But we got that nice 1850 pop. You could really just, again, just like all my entries today, you could feel that it was dying right there. And it came right back down through 1850. So we just took it off. And this actually ended up going back to high of day before making the pullback again. So just a quick little scalp. It wasn't anything special. We didn't really make anything on it because I took such small size because I knew I was kind of breaking my rule of the 12 o'clock cutoff. But yeah, That's all I got for you. If you like this format, I know it's going to end up being a little bit longer of a video, but it shows the live trades. It kind of gives you my thought process of what I'm thinking. And I think I can explain what I'm looking for each and every time, like I'm getting into and out of a trade. And yeah, I think this could be a good, like some good educational content. And let me know if you think so as well. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I always appreciate that support. If you do have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.